Are we ready?
Yes, I just took a sip of my coffee.
That's great. I have a few beverages here too.
Same, I got my snacks and my coffee. Yeah.
Wow, we are so
So
ready. We are so professional. Okay.
if I eat or you suddenly hear me slurp, then you know lah, huh?
Hi everyone, welcome to Rational Delusion Podcast. Here we are again with another episode.
Hi friends.
Alright. Shall we jump straight into follow-up?
Can, sure. Let's go.
Okay, so before follow-up proper, I'm very proud to announce that our podcast is live. We are available on our main website, Telegram, which we also use to run the podcast, and we're also on Google Podcasts and Spotify. Spotify was a huge step. I'm so glad we managed to make it work.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're live.
Yep, so you'll be able to see our episodes, you'll be able to download them, and you'll be able to see our show notes, which are the fragments of the artifacts of things that we discuss, like links, supplementary links to other places about the things that we discuss on the podcast.
Do check it out.
Alright, so we are also working on pushing the podcast onto Apple Podcasts, Overcast, Stitcher, and even Amazon Music, but it would take a while, yeah, because everything is still in process.
True.
Funny though, like about Apple Podcasts, because neither of us are Apple users, but yeah, it seems that the Apple ecosystem is pretty huge on the world of podcasting, so I thought that it would be nice to push it there, but it will take a while.
Yes, but we will make it happen.
Actually, the setting up the Apple ID, it wasn't easy. Like, I think Apple required me to sign in on an Apple device, which I didn't own. So it's a bit difficult. Like, how do I verify that I'm an actual human without having an Apple device? Essentially, like, Apple couldn't tell that I exist.
Maybe we can outsource it to one of our friends who is in the iOS system.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Alright, okay, let's jump into follow-up. So, last episode we mentioned about space telescopes, and just like to clarify that Hubble Space Telescope was launched in 1990, and we weren't born yet. Yeah, so that's an interesting fact about the space telescopes that are in operation right now.
Wow. So it's like 32 years old this year.
Yeah. Alright, and another thing I realized while I was editing the previous episode was that certain parts of it, we sounded very entitled. Okay, mostly me lah. It was me that sounded very entitled because at some point we were discussing about the most livable cities, and we were looking at this spreadsheet, this interactive database that Kisi provided. And then I casually said something like, oh, city safety isn't that important, and like apparently we are considered high income countries. So I'd just like to point out that it's easy to take for granted that we have good lives, reasonably good lives, and live in a good high income country. But yeah, it's definitely something to consider, like if we go overseas, if we travel, and yeah, it's important to know that yeah, we were fortunate enough to live and grow up in such a country. Yeah, it's not like we take it for granted. Okay, city safety is important. Alright.
Definitely. So I think this is something also most okay, I wouldn't say most, but quite a handful of Singaporeans also take for granted. It's like how when you go to hawker center, I do see people chopping the seats with their phone. This is a big no-no in many countries.
Right.
Like not everyone is so gracious to acknowledge that, oh, that phone means, this seat is taken. People will see as, oh, free phone, easy crime, why not?
I love that so much. I feel like that behavior, right? It's a very important part of Singaporean culture. Like the being able to chop the seats with like phones or I don't know, wallets or credit cards. It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think one thing I took for granted also, you know how ladies we have our sling bag, shoulder bag, then we always carry it on one side of the shoulder. So this really nice lady, I think I was in Bali or Malaysia. Yeah, this very nice store owner went to tell me that if you're gonna carry a shoulder bag, sling it across your body, don't hold it on one side of the shoulder. So yeah, it's these little things that we didn't know because Singapore's a really nice country. and really safe.
Yeah.
Things to take note when you travel abroad.
Yeah, definitely. Alright, last episode I also mentioned about stores charging for plastic bags and that I would happily throw money at it. I don't think I've actually paid for plastic bags before, like explicitly lah. Usually what I tend to do is I end up bringing my own plastic bags. So different stores have different ways to deal with this. Like Donkey actively charges for like plastic bag. Like it's an additional 10 cents if you didn't bring if you need a plastic bag during packing. Yeah. Then NTUC actually offers a discount if you bring your own. So yeah, if you know me personally, you would know that I'm very particular about expense categories. And the idea is that every expense must be tagged to a specific category, sort of like a justification. Like, I've thought this through and these are the only things I can spend money on. And no, I don't like having a catch-all category like others or miscellaneous. Cannot, okay? It has to be something. Yeah, so I don't have an expense category for plastic bags. So I'll probably like lump it under the original category. Like if the plastic bag expense would inherit the category of the main expense like groceries or snacks or dinner. Yeah, but I'm generally uncomfortable with that. I try to minimize expense and I usually have enough spare plastic bag lying around in my bag, in my house, so I'll use those lah, yeah. So I'm just wondering, like, how do you deal with this? Like, do you have your own plastic bags, or would you actually pay for plastic bags at NTUC or Donkey or those places?
Oh wow, I think because the cost of plastic bag that these supermarket chain charges, right, it's very negligible as compared to your overall spending. And
Right.
I feel plastic bag
Yes.
is kind of like we kind of grew up with it. Like it's something that we take for granted, the convenience of stores providing plastic bag. So when it comes to such a shift, personally for me, I don't see my social circle actually mind paying for these negligible costs. Yeah, but it's very nice that you bring your own plastic bags. I personally don't like the hassle.
Right. I don't actively, explicitly try to bring plastic bags either. It's usually just I happen to have them in my bag. Yeah, but I agree with you. Like people of our age group, our peers, right? Yeah, we generally don't mind, and I also agree with you that the expense is negligible, but it still accomplishes what it does. Like it's supposed to be a sting. Like it stings some people, and it's a deterrent lah for some people. So like they would be more inclined to bring their own, I wouldn't say plastic bags, but like, you know, those like fabric tote bags. Yeah, that's
recyclable bag,
yeah,
right?
that's probably the original intent of it. Yeah, but I still use plastic bags.
Yeah, me too. Every Asian house, I saw this meme online, every Asian household will have a cupboard full of plastic bags. A plastic bag containing all plastic bags. And I have that.
Yes. That is a very important item in an Asian household. I agree.
Yeah. Probably if they increase the price of this plastic bag, right, to maybe 50 cents, I think I will feel
Oh
the
no.
sting. Yeah, 50 cents.
Yeah,
will be
50 cents
painful.
would be a bit too much.
Yes.
Right. Alright, okay. So next, I wanted to talk about our running goals. Because we had fitness goals. How is it going so far?
Personally, for me, it's not going the way that I hope it would go. I'm not hoping that I will make the progress that I expect to make. Not proud of it, but still making progress every week, just not to the standard that I hope for. What about you?
Wow. Okay, so I was very on the ball the previous quarter. So we are in second quarter of this year already. I was very on the ball. Yeah, I managed to meet my original goal, which was 100 km by the end of the first quarter of the year, which I did. So that was great. I plotted a graph to make sure that like we were all like meeting our targets and all, and we had a combined graph that we shared among us. But this quarter, the idea was to raise that target. So it was something like 105 km by the end of this quarter. And we are quite substantially into this quarter already. And my current running is at 5 km. I've only ran 5 km this quarter, yeah, which is terrible because I should be running a lot more. I should be running closer to 50 km. Oh my god. Yeah. So, really bad. Really bad.
It's okay. The year just not the year, the quarter just started.
It did not just
Maybe you can amp up that intensity.
We're quite into this quarter already. We are midway through the quarter and I'm not even midway near my goals. Oh my god.
It's okay. I'm nothing better. So my goal is I do question why do I set such a aggressive goal, but anyway, I'm not gonna disclose the total amount. It's just that till for the distance that I ran till today, it's 260 km, and it is, let me calculate, I am short of 73 km from projected progress.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, but this is so relieving to hear that you are also quite short of your target.
Yes, you're not alone.
Okay, let's be encouraging and let's try to push each other to run more. I have a stupid excuse that I'm trying to I think that maybe I could use this stupid excuse like, oh, my right knee has been acting up, so like maybe I'm trying to take a break. Like I've been taking a break for 3 weeks already, which is a very substantial amount of time. Yeah, so
oh, we all have our excuses, don't we? For me, my excuse is work has been intense and I don't like it that I always use work as an excuse for a lot of things. So but work has been intense, so time to rebalance my life.
Alright. It's fine. Alright, I wanted to bring up something that I experienced after I ran in the city. Honestly, I didn't think I was going to be able to run in the city for so long. Like, it's a new thing that I tried out since last quarter lah, yeah. So initially, it was also like a just run or just slow jog until you can't anymore. Then end up it's a one circuit lah. So like I usually run a circuit around Marina Bay. So yeah, then as I got more familiar with the route, right, I don't know why my brain works this way, but it slowly became more and more speed oriented. Then my mind is very condescending in such a way like, oh my god, it's been 25 minutes. You're supposed to have finished already, but you're still here. No, you must speed up. Then my mind is very cynical like that. So as it went on, right, it felt more and more terrible because there was that time pressure. So technically, based on the values that I've ran in the city, right, based on like raw data values, right, I'm improving each time, but mentally, right, while running the route, it still seems really slow still. And I feel like, yeah, it's becoming a bad experience to run in the city. Perhaps that's why I stopped as well. But despite saying all that, I still feel that you and I should definitely go running in the city together someday.
Yes, oh, we should. I love the city view, especially at night. You know, the iconic city, like lighted city landscape. I love it.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, and on your point on timing, I think that should be the way. I feel with every run, you should get better. It's not just about clocking the distance, but also improving your timing. Even if it's just by 1 second, I still think it's an improvement. So that when you look back, right, from like say when you first started this running goal and halfway through, your timing should be significantly better.
Yeah, so when I was still running more, yes, the values show that I did improve, but I don't know, it feels subjectively that it was bad. And I constantly feel that it's just slow. And it's a very subjective thing because clearly the values show that I'm improving, but I don't think the improvement is fast enough.
I think it's good. At least you have expectation for yourself to keep improving and not be like, I'm just clocking in the distance, like checking a to-do list, but you're actually working with purpose and intention, which is a good thing. And I do that too. And on your point on running in the city, I have an interesting fact to share. I've realized that usually when I run in the city, my timing is much better. And I feel this is because of the social pressure. Yes, so when you see a lot of people around you who are also running and you'll be like, you want to keep up, you want to be, you want to appear competent. Maybe it's one of my inner demons, but this social pressure really do has an effect on me, especially on the Helix Bridge, especially that part.
Oh my god. I think I experienced an opposite effect. Like somehow I tend to run worse in the city because the route is more variable for me. Like when I run circuits like downstairs my house, right? That's a more predictable route, and there's no traffic lights and there's no human traffic. So it feels like that's a more consistent timing to hit. Then when I run in the city, right, there's elevation changes when I run up the Helix Bridge, then suddenly I would feel like there's no energy to continue. Yeah, so I might stop, I might walk for a bit, then I continue running more. Yeah, something like that. So my timing tends to vary more when I run in the city.
Okay, partly through there also. Like on my usual running route, because you know what's coming, it's easier
Yeah.
to plan and like space out your stamina and meet your targeted time. So, but still a good experience running in the city.
Yeah, so when are we gonna run together in the city?
Yes, we will put that down on our calendar after this podcast.
Okay, sure. Alright, now let's dive into the episode proper. Okay, I've been thinking about COVID thoughts. So a while back, it actually seemed that people getting COVID was starting to get pretty common, but now it seems like people getting COVID a second time is pretty common. It's starting to become a very common thing. And in fact, I've been hearing stories of people getting reinfected the third time.
Wow.
I guess the point here is to stay safe, continue washing hands. You and I haven't gotten COVID yet. Let's hope it stays that way.
Yes.
So continue washing hands, continue sanitizing everything, don't touch your face. You know, now that restrictions are actually becoming more lax, it's starting to enter this weird territory because like mandatory testing is no longer a thing for a lot of places as well, and everyone's threshold to how uncomfortable am I before I deem that I'm not feeling well is also different. So it's becoming very tricky to monitor and to sniff out like whether someone has COVID or not, like whether it is still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but one thing that I really love is the removal of all the safe entry gantries or the check-in, because this means that all entrances of places are no longer blocked and you can take your usual shortcuts.
Usual as in 2 years ago. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the one of the best removal guidelines removed.
Yes, definitely. So these are some of the points that I written before the gantries were removed, and the gantries were removed like this week, so it was pretty recent. It was still a pretty recent thing. So before the gantries were removed, right, I was constantly annoyed at the existence of like gantries, like why they were there. And before that, it was just really terrible. All the exits were being sealed off, and my mind jumps into like the edge cases, like what if it's an emergency, like what if there's a fire and we need to escape. But that's really an edge case. My real annoyance comes down to like we have the facilities and we have the infrastructure, but we're not using it optimally. We could have made our lives better, but yet we choose not to. And it's such a human reason, like we did this to ourselves, you know? How annoying is that? Yeah, so I'm really glad that it's being removed. I'm really glad that we can walk as per how we used to do it 2 years ago. Yeah, and it's really good.
Yeah, it saves a lot of time.
Alright, and something about work-life balance as well, now that we are transitioning into going back to office. So for me, working from home was never an option for me. So I've been hearing a lot of stories about like specific bottlenecks at work. Like some process gets stuck because people are down with COVID or otherwise unable to help with the project. And like the whole fiasco made me feel like if you are the only human that can do your job, then you're doing something wrong, because one single person shouldn't be able to cause a bottleneck like that. The entire workflow process shouldn't grind to a standstill just because one person is not available. There should be redundancies built in. Each person should create a system of redundancies so that other people can drop in and pick out what they need in order to keep things moving. It's for the greater good, so like the company doesn't fall apart just because of one person. Yeah. What do you feel about this?
I agree with that. So my company has this system where we are all like paired up and we are each other's leave or sick cover. So if say person A,
Oh,
yes, person A is unable to work, person B should be able to pick up where person A left off and ensure that the process doesn't come to a standstill. So I think this leave cover or like sick
yeah.
cover system is very effective.
Yeah, that's very good. Like it's kind of like a buddy system as well.
Yes, but maybe the only drawback is that if your leave cover choose to go on a long leave, you are not allowed to take leave during that period.
Oh,
So have to that's one thing that you have to
oh.
compromise. So that's the only drawback, I guess.
So you can't switch like your leave cover person. Like you can't say that, oh, both of us want to take leave. Then you can't offload that to someone else. Like now you are my new leave cover.
Well, normally we wouldn't do that as well because part of this leave cover system is also they will usually pair colleagues who are of the same portfolio or of the same competence or seniority.
Right, that makes
So
sense. Yeah.
the person will be able to understand where person A left off, will be able to understand the work, and the learning curve is not so steep. The delay will not be so significant also.
Alright. That's cool. That's a very good system. Yeah. I mean, it should be like this lah. Yeah.
But on the point of back to office and work-life balance, since we are now all encouraged to go back to office, can't comment much. So I've been working from home and I love it till I don't. And on the point of work-life balance, I can't comment much yet because now that I'm back in office, I still think that my work-life balance is still not as balanced as when I'm 100% work from home. So we'll see how again. I can share an update on my work-life balance that's hanging on a thread right now.
Oh my
I can share more
god.
in future episodes.
Okay, sure. Let's check in again, like maybe next episode and see how we're doing in that front. I hope things get better for you too. It's been rough. It's been a
Yes.
rough like few months actually. Yeah.
Yes, I hope to provide more update and hopefully be an advocate of work-life balance in the
Yeah.
next episode. Although I don't have much expectation, but okay, we'll see.
Hang in there. Talk to your support structure.
Thank
Talk to
you.
us, your friends. Yeah, we're here for you.
Yeah, that's so important. So thankful for you guys.
Alright, so we've been wanting to talk about this next point for a while now. This is something about your earliest childhood memory. So, what are some of the earliest childhood memories that you can recall? Because I have a very vivid picture. I typically only have one or two memories that I can actually recall reliably. Yeah, so we figured we want to talk about that.
Maybe we can start with your earliest childhood memory. What age were you?
Okay, so my earliest memory, it's a bit weird. My earliest childhood memory was a coloring lesson in preschool. So preschool is, I was 3 years old. Yeah, so I still remember where I was sitting, and I remember I was coloring a picture of rice, like it was a bowl of rice. Like, you know how sometimes we are given a black and white picture, like an outline picture, and then we're supposed to fill it in with color, like colored pencils. Yeah, so I was using that, and then I vividly remember I was coloring the rice a beige color because I wanted to show that I still wanted to do work. Like the rice is supposed to be white, but I didn't want to leave it white. Yeah, so I was coloring the rice a shade of beige, like very lightly. And today, I still walk past the facility every now and then, and I look into the facility and I reminisce about the time that I was sitting there coloring rice, not knowing what income tax is. Yeah, so I still remember exactly like where I was sitting and all that. Yeah, so that was one of my earliest childhood memories. I don't know what to take from that, but I still remember it from time to time. Yeah.
Wow. So interesting. When you say you're coloring a bowl of rice, my first thought is, what is there to do? You just color the bowl. But most Asians' household, our bowl are white as well. So I would be the one kid that would be like, okay, I'm done. And when show and tell, because I think in preschool you would like share your coloring with a small group of the class.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not sure
think so.
about now.
I think so. Yeah.
I believe I'll be that one kid that will show a clean sheet of paper where work was barely done and say that the color of the rice is white and the color of the bowl is white. Look at my masterpiece.
You are a terrible student.
I believe I'll be that one kid.
Yeah.
I think you remember that memory. Is it because it was like one of your first few coloring session?
I think so. It has to be, right? Because I mean, there's no way to verify it today, but it has to be one of the earliest things that I did. Yeah.
Oh, amazing though. I can still remember where you sit in the class.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's
okay.
quite
cool.
To be fair, the facility is quite small, and now it has a giant glass window, so I can look in and see oh yeah, the tables, the chair is still there. I'm sure it's not the same chair and table, but yeah, that seat allocation is still there today. Yeah.
They have not changed the seating arrangement.
No, they have not. I mean, it's against a wall. It's in a corner. So it's very,
Wow.
very natural to let that seat remain there. Yeah.
Okay. I think for myself, my earliest childhood memory, coincidentally, it will also be when I was 3. But I don't think I've started schooling when I was 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my earliest childhood memory would be me in this very silly and I would say cute for their age outfit. It's a
Yes.
yellow pants and a
Wow.
yellow shorts and a yellow t-shirt with a duckling in the middle. And my hair was I was born bald, so I didn't have much hair. And when I was 3, I think my mom managed to tie whatever hair I have on my head into a little mushroom at the top. Yeah, and that was my earliest memory, that image, that outfit, and me with this very iconic plastic toy that I really love. It was a plastic toy phone.
Wow.
I remember I loved it so much, and I bring it with me to everywhere I go. So my earliest memory was me, the outfit, that plastic toy phone at the playground.
Nice. And what were you doing? Do you remember yourself doing something or?
I think I was okay. So the memory is very faint, but when I was very young, my grandfather would always bring me to the playground. So I can picture, I can recall and picture him sitting there just watching me while I play by myself at the playground.
Okay, that's nice. It's very interesting that you remembered things about yourself, like how you were dressed, how your hair was tied, because these are things that you wouldn't be able to see for yourself. I don't look down at myself to see how I was dressed back then. Yeah, so I don't think I have a lot of memories about that, but I think that's iconic that you are able to remember how you looked and specifically how your hair was being tied. That's really interesting.
I think pictures does help. So my mom, when we were young, my mom would take photos of us. So there was this good period of time in this photo album where I have this mushroom hairstyle and this pink iconic plastic phone. Recalling this memory, I remember I really loved that toy. I would chew on it. It is so broken, but I would still play with it.
That's not how a phone is used, but sure. Okay.
I wonder if I have a photo. I can try to share if I have one.
Share the photo of you?
With the pink plastic phone. Yeah, sure.
I would love to see such a photo.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go dig it up. I believe I'll be able to find, just need more time.
Alright, yes, please share it. I'm very curious to how you look like back then.
So when you walk past your preschool, you recall that memory. I think my trigger point would be, not trigger point, the things that trigger me to recall this memory is when I see little kids playing at the playground.
Yeah.
How they didn't know about income tax, they didn't know about all the responsibilities that we have now. Oh, those were good times.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You are right. Yeah, so I guess one of my main triggers is walking past that facility because it is quite nearby my house. So I do walk past it quite occasionally when I'm going out. When I'm returning back home, I do glance in occasionally and remember that seat because it's such a large part of that memory that it was imprinted. I have no idea why. Yeah, and I don't know what this shows about my personality or my thought process. Yeah. Do you think that your early childhood memories shape who you are? What does it indicate about yourself today?
I think definitely my early childhood memories, I think every memory, or it's like a jigsaw.
Right.
Every memory is like a puzzle piece that contributes some way or another into who we are as a person now. Actually, I'm a strong believer of that. Yeah, so I feel that I feel I didn't start school at a young age like most kids these days. I think I start school when I was 4 and actually properly learning when I was 6 or 7. Actually properly giving more putting in more effort in school, yeah, when I was 6 or 7.
Okay,
And
okay.
I think that part of that carefree part where my grandfather used to bring me around to like playground, buy me snacks and everything. I think it really lets me foster my playful attitude in life. I hope I still have it. Yeah, it definitely makes me more playful, and I realized that it also I carry this into my secondary school life as well, where I introduce my friends to the world of playgrounds, and we play it differently, but we still play.
Right, right. I mean, playgrounds are an important part of like the landscape, and they're an important part of a lot of people's childhoods and livelihoods today.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
definitely something that I would want my child to have early exposure to playgrounds. So yeah, this is something I think will bring into my future parenting style if I ever have a kid.
All right. That's interesting. Also, maybe a topic for another time. Having kids. Wow. All right.
Heavy topic. Okay.
So I did do a bit of a deep dive, a research like session into this topic, and I uncovered a lot of research lah basically. So I'm gonna share some of the things that I found. So a bit of research reveals that early childhood memories tend to be exceptionally pleasurable ones or exceptionally traumatic ones. So in other words, like there has to be distinct emotion in that memory. Yeah, it tends to be. So like this study surveyed quite a lot of people. Yeah, and then also if someone is bilingual or raised in another language, they are more likely to recall memories in the language that they spoke or are exposed to at the time that the memory was formed.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also, usually a coherent sense of self must also have been developed. Like the child must be able to understand who they are, and hence they are able to connect the idea and understanding of like, oh, this is happening to me, and then they're able to conceptualize that as a memory.
Maybe
Yeah.
you're able to recall your coloring experience. Maybe it might be because it's the first time you experience like immense pleasure for a 3-year-old kid.
Perhaps. Yeah, then there's also the idea of like I start to understand that, oh, this is autonomy, you know, I have the autonomy to do something because this is a sense of self. So like I am deciding like that I'm gonna color the rice that beige color. Yeah, so maybe that's why it kind of clicked as well. It ties into early childhood development. Like when do you first realize your sense of self? And then later on in adulthood, another milestone would be something like, when do you realize other people's sense of self? Like, when do you give other people the benefit of doubt that like, oh yeah, they are all autonomous beings that are conscious and sentient and doing their own things like I am. That's another milestone, like late childhood, I guess.
Wow. Wow, it's milestones that we didn't put much emphasis on. Wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but if you study like psychology, this is a very heavy like topic. It's very well emphasized. Like sense of identity, the metaphysics of it, the sense of self and belonging to somewhere. Yeah.
Also, this reminds me of this Sigmund Freud theory. It's a theory on called psychoanalysis. So if you're interested, you can Google based on this word. And basically, to summarize what this theory is, I hope I'm doing a good job. Is there are 3 parts of our identity: the ID, ego, and superego. So these come into being during childhood, one after the other. So ID, right, is basically the mind that we're born with. It tells us our basic needs like wanting things, wanting to eat, wanting to drink, and keeping warm. And it's basically it's ruled by the pleasure principle. Then
Okay.
we will develop our ego from there, which is the reality principle. Which brings into the point where you say like you start to develop a sense of self.
Yeah.
The ego would be developed second in the child's mind, followed by the super ego, which will develop last. So let me see if I can think of a good analogy. So let's say you're deciding whether you want to eat the last piece of cake
Oh no! Oh my
after
god!
you've had
This is like
half of the cake.
yeah.
Relatable, right?
Yeah.
So as a kid, if you're hungry, your ID will tell you you are hungry. Just eat it. But your super ego will be the one that develops afterwards, develops last. So a kid wouldn't say like, are you crazy? You already have half a cake. You should not have the last piece of cake because you'll be fat. And you wanting the last piece of cake, you should be ashamed of yourself. So a kid wouldn't have this kind of thought process. So the super ego develops last.
Right. So you see, right, the super ego usually deals with things like our ideals and morality, like striving for perfection. So it makes sense that it is about being self-conscious about your image, and also about morality, like is it right to eat the last piece of cake? Yeah, despite having eaten so much already, like maybe you should think twice about it lah. And because of the complex nature of morality, right, it is usually the part that develops the latest in life. So we tend to acknowledge our instincts first. So a lot of sources describe like the ID as an unconscious level of knowledge. Like you discover something unconsciously, then consciously you think about ego and reality, because that's how you take in information about the world.
Yes.
Then after that you think about your super ego, which is a pre-conscious level that exists somewhere between the two realms of consciousness. Yeah, it's really cool.
So how do you decide on eating that last piece of cake? Would be your ego. Your ego will be the one at play that will try to reach a compromise between your ID and your super ego. So what they say is the ego developed first. So in the child's context, I think the child will be like, okay, I'm hungry, I'll eat it. Then because super ego might not have developed by then, then your ego will be like, I like cake, why not?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I actually have studied psychology to learn more. Okay, so that's the theory in a very bad summarized version.
No, but I feel like as much as we are interested in psychology, right, I feel that for me, right, this is the kind of things that once I study, right, I would slowly lose a lot of interest about it. So I'm glad we're talking about it on the side. Like, I'm glad we're not doing this for a living, but this is a very interesting exploration into like child psychology and development as well. Yeah.
That's true. Like, it's fun to learn, but it's not fun to sit for an exam.
Yeah. So, talking about memories and childhood, right, the converse is also often discussed, which is known as childhood amnesia, or the inability to recall early childhood memories as people grow older. So there's another study that suggests a systematic bias in the age estimates of certain early memories. So while most children were able to recall memories accurately, right, the estimate of the age that their age estimates shifted forwards towards later ages. For example, like something that happened at 4 years old, I would think that it happened in 7 years old or 8 years old, like age 7 or age 8. Yeah, so I guess I'll share a compilation of all these articles that I'm reading off of. Yeah, but the implication here is that what's generally accepted as the age of the earliest memory, right, may be inaccurate lah. So for example, I'm quite certain that the thing in my memory happened at age 3 because I can base it off of like it's a preschool thing and preschool happens at age 3. So, but if not for that, right, maybe I would remember it happening in like age 5 or 6 instead. Yeah, there is a bias that tends to shift it forward in time, and yeah, this is quite established lah. So this is interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Maybe I might have gotten the age wrong as well, because all I remember was I haven't started schooling. So I started schooling when I was 4 or 5.
No, but yeah, you have an accurate way to benchmark like what age you were, and it's definitely before 4 years old. So I think it's accurate enough. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Let's just hope our earliest memory will still be as clear as it is now.
Yeah.
10 years down the road.
So in general, memory is a very funny thing. Do you listen to this podcast called Serial?
Serial? No, I haven't heard of it.
Alright, I feel like it's a very important podcast. It's one of the more well-known ones out there. It is a podcast about investigative journalism, and the first season deals with the murder of this girl, this student, in 1999. Serial is produced in 2014 lah, so essentially there's a 15-year time jump. So for the first episode of Serial Season 1, it's established that memory itself is a very fleeting thing. So this is not childhood memory anymore lah, but this is just memory in general. It's a very fleeting thing. The podcast didn't explicitly say this, but basically from my own sensing lah, basically all eyewitness testimonies are bullshit, and they should not be taken with any seriousness at all lah, because how do you remember something like that before the age of like internet and smartphone technology? Yeah, so turns out what we remember, even like something a few weeks ago, right, it's very difficult to remember accurately. And in fact, memory implantation is a thing. So
yeah, I wanted to talk about that. It's damn interesting.
Yeah, so okay, let me just read off something that I've written. It's a technique in cognitive psychology used to investigate human memory. So in many of these studies, right, researchers actually make people believe that they remember an event that never actually happened. These false memories, right, they have been implanted successfully in people's memories, and the most common events include remembering like being lost in a mall as a child, or taking a hot air balloon ride. Something generic and ambiguous enough, but still plausible enough that you could like ostensibly have done it. Yeah, these kind of things and a lot of the techniques, right, it's very ethically questionable, but a lot of the techniques involve like them sitting down, like the participants, right, actually sitting down with like their family members, and essentially the family members have a conversation with them discussing that event that never actually happened, and by the end of that conversation, right, they agree that it has happened, and they are able to fabricate new information that did not actually happen. Like, I remember what mall it was and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a bit ethically questionable, but then you think about like in a courtroom where things happen in such a delayed manner, and a single trial could be spread out over many months or even years. How do you conclusively and accurately determine that the eyewitness testimony was accurate? Like with all these memory implantation techniques in place, it's such a sinister thing to think about. Yeah. What do you feel about this?
I think it's a very interesting. So I chanced upon this article as well that it is proven we can implant entirely false memories in people.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the exact details of this experiment where they tried. So basically they tried to convince people who have never been to Disney. They tried to implant a childhood memory of them at Disneyland in people who have never been to Disneyland.
Oh my god.
So I can't remember how it started, but 50% of the people who has never been to Disneyland actually, when asked to recall whether have they been to Disneyland, they managed to successfully implant this memory. And it's later on in the study that they verify and disclose to them that actually we implanted this memory with you.
God.
We have checked with your family. You have never been to Disneyland. So it's an entirely possible thing. It's very interesting. I'll try to find the study.
Now thinking about this, right, like the ethics of this, like lying to a person and cheating their feelings, making them think that they've been to Disneyland, that's so morally like ambiguous. Alright, yeah, so to me, right, any discussion or allegation about something that happened like more than 3 years ago, right, is completely irrelevant simply because of how we recall things and how we kind of unintentionally fabricate lies. Yeah, so when you say something inaccurate without the intention of lying, right, you're not actually lying. There's a word for this. It's called confabulation. Yeah, it's your mind being confused about something, whether something actually happened or not. And the fact that this happens often enough, right, is indicative like anything 3 years ago, yeah, for me at least, anything that happened more than 3 years ago, it's already there's no solid allegation that can be drawn from that already, because everyone's memories is fleeting. How can you verify? How can you conclude something if you want to draw on experience that happens 3 years ago? Yeah, so it's a bit scary because We have known each other for about 11, 12 years, so that's like 4 times of what my personal threshold would be. So do we actually know each other for 12 years? I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. But I think a good point to remember is also that we tend to remember the good experience
Yeah.
as something that is better than it really is, and the worst experience as something that is worse than it actually is. Like, our minds have this tendency.
Yeah, there are names for this. They are called like positivity and negativity biases. Yeah, so we tend to remember like, yeah, it tends to get amplified, the emotions. Yeah.
So don't fully trust your memory.
That was a very deep dive into memory and childhood memories. I'm glad I got to hear what your earliest childhood memories are.
Yeah, it's very interesting sharing.
Alright, next I would like to ask you about your smartwatch experience, because a few weeks ago,
Yay!
it was Hazel's birthday, and another friend and I got
Yeah,
her.
it's her birthday. Sorry.
It's fine, it's good, you're supposed to be happy about it. Okay, so another friend and I got Hazel a smartwatch as a birthday gift. And so how has your experience been so far with a smartwatch?
I have a funny story, but to give some context first, for I think as long as Veer has known me, you guys have never seen me wear a watch before, so I don't have the habit of wearing watches. Yes, but this the watch that you guys gave me is really sweet. I really loved it. Totally unexpected. And I've been trying to build this habit of wearing a watch. Yeah, so it amazed me how you are able to change my lifestyle habit for something that's ingrained so long. So yeah, so back to my funny story. After not having wear a watch for like years, I actually developed rashes a few days in of wearing the watches. So I don't know, is it poor hygiene or what, but I always make sure to clean the watch and my wrist every time I took it off and I put it back on. Yeah, the rashes are actually, I'm checking my rashes. Yeah, it's still there. It's faint already, but it still itches once in a while. And I think there are like new rashes developing around
Oh
it.
my god. That's terrible.
So this is a funny story.
Oh no.
But on to the positive points, I love the watch. Like, I didn't expect myself to wear it. I'm actually wearing it now, even though I'm at home.
You're wearing it? With rashes?
Yeah, I love the convenience of... Yeah, I'm currently wearing it now on top of the rashes.
Do you want your rashes to recover? Wow, okay. That's a sweet gesture. But if it causes skin irritation, like, please, either change to another wrist or you can wean off wearing a watch for a while.
Yeah, I don't wear it to sleep, so I do take a break. But I love it. The part that I love it the most is, aside from being able to tell time more quicker now without my phone, and also if there are any notification, right, I like it that I can just have a glance on the notification, and if it's urgent, I can like respond to it like in a much shorter time than before when I have to carry my phone around.
Alright, that's great.
So thank you guys for the watch. I love it.
Alright, so a point that you brought up about the notifications is that it can be a double-edged sword, because as much as I like being connected to the internet and connected to my friends, right, all this, right, I feel like you gotta know how to deal with notifications. You can't allow absolutely every notification through. So for example, I wouldn't allow notifications from Facebook or Instagram because it doesn't demand the same level of attention as a WhatsApp notification or Telegram notification from a close friend. Yeah, so you gotta know how to deal with it lah. In general, it's a very good extension of the phone on your body, and it's a good proxy of your phone. Yeah, and I've been trying to convince you to wear it to sleep for the longest time, because with sleep data, it's amazing how much you can track and like how good your sleep quality is, how your heart data is doing, yeah, and wearing it on exercises and workouts, yeah, you should totally do more of that. But one thing about the rashes, maybe, I feel like, I don't know if this is true lah, but let me just suggest that maybe you're not wearing it tight enough. Because I feel like the watch, Okay, you have a Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 Classic, which is quite a popular watch. Like the Samsung ecosystem is pretty popular. So I feel like this watch would be designed to not cause skin irritation. And there is a chance that your skin is indeed really more sensitive than usual. But maybe you can try tightening it such that, okay, don't constrict the blood flow lah, but it should be tight enough such that when you are waving your arm, the watch face, right, shouldn't be moving. Like, you shouldn't feel it rubbing on your skin. Yeah, that kind of feeling.
Oh, I just shook my wrist and yeah, it does move a bit. Yeah, maybe I'm not wearing it tight enough. It does You're right.
Yeah, because like if you keep rubbing against it, that might aggravate the rashes lah. Are you on the tightest hole already? Like when you hook it on, are you on the tightest?
Oh, no I'm on the third tightest notch.
Switch it to the second notch and see like if it still moves around, because when you wave your arm, it's not supposed to move around. It's the skin to watch contact is supposed to stay there. Yeah, that's why it can detect your heartbeat when you are running, for example, when your watch is like, it's not supposed to jiggle about. Yeah, and then it can still monitor your heartbeat, heart rate and all. It's so amazing.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the tip. I'm still getting used to wearing a watch, and yeah, the reason why I don't wear to sleep is an irrational fear. I'm worried that I might injure myself.
Don't worry.
When I lift my arm, I'll hit my face.
It's good that you understand this as an irrational fear.
But thanks again.
No worries. I also feel that this is one of the things where the advantages compound with time. Like, the higher proportion of time you spend wearing the watch, then the more good you stand to gain from it, because it tracks everything. It tracks your heart rate, sleep pattern, activity, and walking around your house. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I like that it track my steps.
Shows how active you are. And it annoyingly beeps you when you are sitting at your desk for too long, because it's time to get moving. Yeah.
Oh, I used to love that feature.
Used to?
Especially when I'm in office. I used to love that feature. No. Yes.
Okay.
Until when I'm working from home and it starts beeping me and I'm like, no, I can't leave right now.
So stand up and do some jumping jacks, and then until it goes away.
I always click the not now option.
So your watch knows that you are lazy.
I'm getting used. Not lazy, getting used to the watch.
I'm glad you're getting used to it slowly. And of course, as someone who hasn't been wearing a watch for decades, right? This would take some getting used to. And I'm glad you're actually more receptive than I thought you would be, actually. Yeah,
I'm shocked at how I am wearing. Actually, my parents are also shocked at how I'm starting to wear the watch more often, even when I'm at home.
Okay. Yeah, you should. You should wear it like all the time. Like, that's how I feel, at least. I know not everyone uses it like that. I have friends who do not want to use it to track sleep data as well. Yeah, so they only remove it when they are sleeping.
I see. Okay, maybe one day I will slowly transition to wearing it to sleep.
So you brought up an interesting point about being able to tell time in a more conscious manner. And I was talking about it with a friend quite recently, that he gets annoyed when the time is in his face, like, all the time. And the fact that, like, the time is so accurate, so precise, like, in a way, like 3:57 p.m. and 25 seconds. And it gets a bit annoying to him that, like, it's so precise. So he uses Apple. So on all his Apple devices, right, there is an option to set the clock to display fuzzy time. So this is where you look at the time, right? Like, the time right now is 5:02 p.m. So, like, the 02 might annoy him. So what your computer would actually display, right, is it will round it to the nearest 5 minutes. So it will still display as 5 p.m. and it will display it as words, like 5:00. And then until it's 5:05, then it will display it as 5:05, like, in words. And it is a better experience for him. And the fact that Apple has released such an option means that he's not the only one that feels that way lah. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, like, how you feel about it. Like, I mean, for you, it seems that you like it. You like having the time more accessible.
Yeah, it's such a cute quirk. that he doesn't like it like to know the time exactly.
Yeah.
While I actually love it, so I can gauge better, like, oh, I have 7 minutes left, I have 4 minutes left.
Right.
I think it's good.
I think it ties into like anxiety when you're doing work as well. Maybe he wouldn't appreciate knowing that there's exactly 7 minutes on the clock. He likes to know that it's about 5 minutes, something like that. Like he likes to know it in a more fuzzy way. Yeah, so this concept is called fuzzy time or fuzzy clock. It's quite an interesting concept because we've gone full circle, right? With technology, you always expect it to become more and more accurate until the point where our human monkey brains cannot deal with it. Then we retrograde and make things more confusing in a way, make things more blurred in a way. Yeah, so this is quite interesting.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know there's such a concept. It's so cute though. So are you a fuzzy timer?
I'm not. I need things to be precise. So even when I go on lunch break, I set a countdown timer on my watch because it's so accessible. I love it. So I set a countdown timer and I don't set it for 1 hour. I set it for 59 minutes and 59 seconds. I don't know why I do that. It's a custom timer. Yeah, but like as though that 1 minute makes a difference. I don't know why I do it.
No, every minute counts.
Yeah, sure. Okay, do you want to talk about your article that you've written quite a while ago?
Yes, okay. Let me pull it up to recall.
I need to pull it up too. We are so prepared for this podcast, right? We are professionals. We are 4 episodes in already. We're still doing this.
Baby steps, baby steps.
That's fine.
Okay, I can try to do a quick summary and hopefully not butcher my own article, but it is inspired by a TED Talk from Adam Smalley Poswolski. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. So he is known as Smalley, and he's a millennial workplace expert. So this TED Talk was published quite some time ago in 2015, and it's about the lessons he learned in his quarter life crisis. So what I like about this is because he published it in 2015 on the lessons he learned in his quarter life crisis, and then 4 years later, he published a shift in the perspective of all these lessons. So within a span of 4 years, right, all the lessons he learned actually shifted quite significantly.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, and this is pre-COVID. COVID hasn't even struck, and yeah, it's very interesting, like within a span of 4 years, how someone's lessons can shift significantly. So so let me just summarize some of his lessons. So I've structured my article in a way where I incorporate both the lessons he learned initially and his shift in perspective. So in 2015, he believed that we should all find believers, but 4 years later, he has shifted from finding believers to prioritizing spending more time with your real friends. And the second learning that he used to believe in is to build a career with purpose. And the shift 4 years later is build a career that matters to you with purpose and with patience. So
yeah, makes sense.
That's the second one. And the third one, in 2015, he advocated for hustling with intention and purpose. And 4 years later, he is reminding people that even though you're hustling, don't forget the little things in life. Yes. And I added on one more to the article, which is a personal viewpoint of mine. So I can give a bit of context first. I think I wrote this when I was feeling a bit jaded or on the brink of burnout, because I've crossed the 2-year mark at work, and many of my friends are joking about rage quitting their job or even switching jobs. So yeah, that's what inspired me to read more into this topic and chance upon this TED Talk. So the last point that I added on, which I personally want to believe in and also try to live up to it, is to do things for the sake of fun and curiosity. Not everything has to add value to your career.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So what do you think of it, Vil, before I share my personal experience?
Okay. I think it's a very good article, and I specifically like that you've broken it down into the 3 points that Smiley made in his TED Talk. I haven't watched the TED Talk yet, but I really want to. It's already on my watch list. And yeah, it's a very good way to break down this. And I like that Smiley is open about him changing his perspectives even after 4 years, and how he adds on certain points like addendums to make the checklist better, to make the entire process better in such a way. Yeah.
I think it summarized very nicely. And in this age where people, not say many people, are very prioritize being right, I think it's a very commendable move that he has a shift in perspective and he's willing to own up to it.
Yeah. Because in the end, right, okay, zooming out to a very macro picture, right, like your thoughts and opinions don't define who you are. Your thoughts are like your opinions can be things that you can take out from a backpack. For example, you have your entire backpack of life, and you have certain things that matter to you in the backpack. So those are your thoughts and opinions, ideas, ideology, these kind of things. But you should keep your backpack an accurate reflection of who you are. So you should be able to swap out things as they get better, as your ideas, as your thought processes get more refined. You should be able to freely swap them out. Of course, you shouldn't swap things out every day, but when a more correct or a better idea presents itself, you should allow yourself the freedom to change your opinions. I think this is healthy. Yeah, and I'm glad that this has been reflected more in popular culture and in things like these where it's no longer necessary to be right all the time. Yeah, because the definition of being right is also an ever-shifting goalpost. Yeah.
Totally agree. I feel it's healthy and also important that you're open to new ideas, open to people challenging your thought process, your mindset, because that's how you grow.
Okay, let me share something first.
Okay.
So it's good that your colleagues still tell you to not lose the spark, and they can tell that you have the enthusiasm and it seems sustainable enough that you can maintain this throughout your career. So I feel like fatigue throughout your career is a very normal thing, whether you approach it with optimism or not. Everyone tends to gravitate towards a pretty neutral approach of, I understand why I'm doing this, it's just a means to make money, that kind of attitude. But it can't be complete jadedness also, because it's not like everyone's constantly whining about their jobs all the time, because that's also very unhealthy. But my main point is that this decline in a very sparky or bouncy motivation, right, is totally normal and is to be expected. Whether you love your job or not, right, the way you walk into your workplace in your 10th year of working there, right, would not be the same as your first day. Yeah.
Definitely, because the novelty is not there anymore. But
I think it's a good skill to learn to find joy in the little joys in everything that you do. And yeah, something that this one of the senior colleague that I work with told me that, so the harsh reality is that you won't like 100% of your job. It's up to you to determine what is the healthy percentage. Say you have to love 50% of your job before you think it's time to find another opportunity. So it's up to us to decide what is the percentage of the job that we must like, or the threshold to uphold before we search for another opportunity.
Yeah. Oh my god, this is so difficult.
It is.
Yeah, but I get you. So in the article, you also mentioned that you are a bordering workaholic. I don't think you are a bordering workaholic. I think you are more than average. And from what I know, I feel like you are very committed to your job. Yeah. So you also mentioned that you experience some guilt when indulging or working on things that are not related to your primary career. Actually, this ties into what we discussed in a previous episode, like the post where you feel guilty about resting. Yeah, and it's a bad thing because I suppose our brains feel guilty for not being productive. So one thing I want to try is to reframe what being productive means. So in the very first episode, I created and I formalized a list of things that I do and I am interested in. Remember the very first episode I mentioned certain things like math, statistics, audio film production, graphic design, all that whole list of things lah. So the idea is, I don't know how best to describe this, but when you write down a list of what you are and what you aim to work on, right? The idea is that you get your brain to internalize that, yep, these are the things that I have decided to do. I am not straying off topic. Contributing to these areas, any of these areas, is considered productive. So it's kind of like a list of alternative careers, you know? Yeah, so just want to share that this may be a strategy to cope with, like, oh, maybe I feel guilty about taking a break or like doing things that are not related to my work, but it's also still being productive in the grand scheme of your entire life. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think it's not, personally, I find it's not easy to redefine what you term as productivity. Partly, I feel partly because I'm pretty results oriented. So to me, the definition of productivity is very tied to the end results. So I have to see visible progress in order to say that, oh, I have been productive. And certain things, you are unable to see visible end results or even progress until a very late stage.
Okay.
So I don't think it's easy, but I still think it's something everyone should redefine once in a while, what productivity means to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So would you like to share how do you keep sparky in your career?
Oh, I think I'm a bit too early in my career to do that. I'm only about 6 to 8 months in. So still pretty greenhorn at everything. But generally, I mean, I'm in a very niche career and school time kind of counts towards this as well. So my 4 years of education, like specific education in this field, counted towards like the exposure of like these patients and this kind of lifestyle. So I think I'm doing all right. In general, healthcare is a very easy thing to still remain sparky, even for a very long time. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty okay. But of course, it's still very important to focus on other things, like the things you do off work. Yeah, which is why I'm glad actually in the first episode, I made myself come up with a list of like what are the things that I'm interested in. Because, for example, like you're not just working at the bank. You're not just working at your company. You're more than that. You're also a podcaster. You're also an author. You're author of your articles. So this is important. Of course, you have to define it with your results, like in a different way lah. So for me, like maybe graphic and web design, it's a bit difficult to see results all the time. But possessing those skill sets and honing those skill sets, is part of what being productive means as well. Yeah. So hobbies and other side interests are very important as well. Don't neglect them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I've come to learn that not every idea or project that you choose to attempt or even try out, it does not always have to be value adding to our main career. Unless you want work to be 90% of your identity, then okay, sure. But if you don't want, then don't go down that road.
Right. So like, if you choose to focus some of your time on the things outside your career, right, you must know that this is not downplaying your passion you may have in your career. Alright, so sometimes we take breaks to do other things so that we can perform better at our main job. So yeah, and sometimes it's even valuable to bring in tips and tricks from other fields into your career as well. Each field and skill set today, right, is rarely a standalone thing anymore. So like, yeah, I suppose like as we mentioned in a previous episode, right, don't get comfortable. Like make yourself semi-uncomfortable so you will continue progressing. Yeah.
A part of you should always be uncomfortable. As in you get what I mean.
Yeah, I do. So I've also finally experienced something at work which was like something that you have mentioned before, which is like keeping the spark alive. Yeah, so I'm about 8 months in now. So I met a colleague in the lift and she just casually asked if I'm dreading work yet. But since it was a new rotation and all, like I wasn't really dreading work, so I was like quite happy about it. And then she was like, okay, yeah, keep up this spark, don't lose it. And straight away I thought about you and like how this is such a common thing. Yeah. Yeah, like it's such a common thing that we keep discussing. Like people of our age group also keep discussing it here and there.
That is true. So that brings to the one of the question we talked about previously offline is also if you don't have to do something, will you still do it, right?
Alright, okay, let's do this. Okay, so this is actually one of my current breakdowns or mental spirals that's happening right now. So the very grand, broad question is, if you don't have to do something, will you still do it? So a very relatable example I ask when I get people to think about when thinking about this, right, is if for some reason the rest of your life is all set and you don't have to work in a career anymore, would you still take on some job and keep some semblance of a routine? Because personally for me, I don't think I can sit still and be without a job and literally just do whatever I want to. I don't think I'm that kind of person. So in other words, I disagree with the notion like if you don't have to do something, I won't just drop it because I don't have to do it. Yeah, so the job thing is one way to think about it. But another way to think about it is like, let's say you're taking a vacation, a trip. You're taking a vacation to the other end of the world, so it necessitates a 20-hour flight. If you didn't have to travel to reach your destination, will you still choose to travel? Like, okay, I mean, I don't think you would choose for it, but would you miss the banality of like travel? The people keep saying that it's the journey that makes the destination beautiful, but isn't it hella convenient if you had a teleporting door and Paris is right there?
Of course.
Think of the amount of queuing time it would save, because people would literally just be able to show up whenever they're allowed to. No excuses for being late either, and there's no traffic congestion, there's no more getting lost or stupid excuses because it's right there. Accessibility is bumped up to a maximum. Okay, so what do you think about these two things? If you don't have to do something, will you still do it?
First, on the point of traveling, which I really like the idea of a teleportation door.
Right.
To me, if I go on a vacation, what counts is when you reach the country. Yeah, from that moment is what I feel will be the highlight. So traveling in between places of interest within that country, that journey, I think it's still part of the good memory package. But taking a plane and traveling to that country, I personally I don't like it. But I do have friends that love plane rides. So I think to each their own.
Yeah, I mean, because you see, it's like, it's something that I kind of look forward, like boarding a plane, like feeling it take off. But a large part of it is it's very mundane. Like, you're not expected to look forward to like the 9-hour flight. It's just something that has to be done so you can reach your destination. And sooner or later, people build this, is it like classical conditioning? Like with it, like they feel a sort of positivity when boarding a plane and when actually going through a flight. But you have to remember that it's something that has to be done. And then the common argument that people say, right, like with the teleporting door, right, is that if you could go anywhere in the world without any obstacle, right, that kind of diminishes the value of the destination. So personally, I don't know how much I agree with this, because teleporting doors would be so good. Like that's the instinctive first response that I would give. But then also, I would also agree partially, at least, with the notion of like, yeah, it might diminish the value of your final destination if all it takes is opening a door and walking through. So I don't really know how to resolve these thoughts myself. That's why it's a mental spiral. Yeah.
Oh, I suddenly had a thought. Maybe, the journey, right? When the person who bring up this point of view, the journey matters because of the anticipation that it builds up.
Right.
Like the excitement, the anticipation, the very beautiful mental imagery that you created in your mind on that 9-hour flight.
Right. Yeah, and then like you
Yeah.
keep thinking about it on the plane, and it kind of makes the experience better. So for some people, it might enhance their experience. But I don't know. I mean, I've never experienced zero travel time before, so I can't tell you for sure if it will be diminished or not. Yeah, but I would love to find out lah.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I think if you take it out into the general context, like the greater scheme of life, I would still think the journey matters. Like, so comparing to travel, let's say the end destination is to be CEO of a company. If you have the opportunity to directly promote into a CEO role or work your way towards it, which will you choose?
First of all, if I was ever offered that option, right, I would be very afraid because the responsibilities of a CEO suddenly, like, I wouldn't be able to deal with that. I would have no such skill set. That would be my main concern. Like, am I gonna screw this company over? Yeah, instead of like whether it's possible to actually do it lah. Yeah, so I wouldn't mind the barrier. Like, I wouldn't mind the lack of barriers. Like, sure, if you want to offer me the opportunity to be a CEO, I wouldn't mind that. But like, I would just be very concerned. Like, are you sure you want to do this? Because I might screw over the company. Yeah, that's my main concern lah. Because this is a tiered thing. It has hierarchy, and there is a very clear pathway into promoting yourself in a company. Yeah.
True. I think same will go for me as well. Although I still have that CEO dream, but I think that the journey does matter. It does matter how you work towards achieving that CEO role rather than landing it onto your plate and you just taking it.
Not to sound narcissistic here, but we are kind of CEOs of this podcast. I mean, this podcast is not a corporation. We don't make money off of this, but technically, we are the...
But one step closer to the goal.
Exactly. You have complete autonomy to say whatever you want on this podcast, right? Yeah, it feels like we've done something with our lives.
So back to your question. In the context of, let's say, your current routine, no travel, nothing, just in your day-to-day life, if you don't have to do whatever is high on your to-do list every day, will you still do it?
So I do feel like there is a healthy amount of routine. It's good for us psychologically. Like, it gives us something to ground ourselves and not drift out of sync. This actually brings me to a deeper dissection of this question. If you don't have to do something, will you do it? Let's think about it in a more hardcore way. The hardcore thing that gets me to think about this is, we watch the Marvel universe, right? We watch Marvel movies. So think about a cyborg like Nebula in the Marvel universe. If we reach a point where we are essentially replaced with some robot body parts and we don't have to self-clean anymore, like showering and brushing teeth, all that. Let's say we have self-cleaning teeth and self-cleaning skin.
Wow.
Yeah, these kind of things. The base of Maslow's hierarchy, keeping personal hygiene and being clean in a socially acceptable level. Let's say we don't have to do that anymore. Would your brain be able to cope with not actually doing it? It serves no function. You can still brush your teeth, but it serves no function anymore. Would you be able to not do it? I don't think I would be able to. I would still want to keep to some routine, you see? Yeah, that is the deepest way to dissect this question. Yeah.
Well, interesting. The first thing I think of was, it wasn't showering or brushing teeth. I think showering, I'll still do it because I love it.
Yeah, that's
but
a part
if
of...
I don't have to sleep, I would never do it.
Right, okay. Yeah, I agree with you, and I feel that sleeping is one of the more mundane things, and if it serves no function, I would probably maximize my time alive, conscious to do whatever I like with it, because even though the rest of the world is asleep, I would still be able to make my time productive, and I'm sure the same is true for you as well. But you see, here's the thing, right? We mentioned that like showering because we love it. You see, it seems like, imagine a new generation of kids was born so that they literally don't have to live their life to self-clean anymore. It would feel like there was a large part of their life that was liberated suddenly, because now they don't have to do all these physiological processes and keep clean and all this. So to them, we who still shower because we like it would seem like a kind of like Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. Like, we used to be in this prison where we have to shower, but now even when we don't have to do it anymore, we still choose to do it. So is it an unhealthy obsession? Would it look like an unhealthy obsession that we still want to shower because we love it? Yeah, like that's the kind of thing that I think about.
Interesting. Yeah, I like how the first thing you think about is shower, and the first thing I think about is sleep.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these physiological processes. They are on the same level. The base of Maslow's hierarchy. I assume that the journey of humanity is to eventually remove all of these physiological needs, because if you think about it, the deadly nature around us always seeks to kill us, and technological advancement in a human setting, we always seek to make it such that it's harder for nature to kill us. Right, we build shelters, we develop tools to ensure our survival in the world. Yeah, so, till such a point where it's no longer a concern to most people anymore. That has seemed like a very mundane part, like it's a very banal part of life. It's a possibility that we don't usually consider anymore. So I assume that the climbing the tree of technology is to get us to the point where we no longer need to do all these physiological processes anymore. And the first generation that was born without the need to actually do this would live life a bit differently than we do. Yeah.
It's like they have their Maslow hierarchy of needs, the first layer of basic necessities removed, so they can achieve the self-enlightenment much faster.
That's one way to think about it. Or would it be that they would develop a completely new kind of Maslow's hierarchy? So there might still be 4 tiers, just stuff from the top tier tends to fall into the place at the bottom tier. Maybe that's the way it would play out. And because self-actualization seems like a thing that would be very difficult to accomplish, and I'm not even sure if I'm there yet. Yeah, so I think the journey would still be the same for a lot of them. I don't know. Yeah, but okay, so the thing that actually got me to start thinking about this is to decide whether I want to go for LASIK procedure. So LASIK is a surgical procedure where you correct for myopia and astigmatism, which I have. Yeah, so it's a corrective procedure where you're able to make sure that you can live your life. It's supposed to be quality enhancing. So you're supposed to be able to, not wear spectacles and contact lenses anymore. Yeah, so that's the idea anyway. But the idea, for me, right, I feel like contact lenses ground me so much. They are a Stockholm Syndrome kind of explanation for not wanting to get LASIK. Because every morning when I wake up, I don't sleep with contacts, but every morning when I wake up, I want to put on my contacts as soon as possible and be productive. But I can't just pop on my contacts. I have to shower and do everything first. So in a way, it makes me a more productive person, that I have to deal with the burden of wearing contact lenses. Yeah, so in a way, it makes me a better person. So in a way, I don't really want to get LASIK because it would ruin this. I keep thinking about a healthy amount of routine is good for us psychologically, because the explanation is usually goes something like this. It gives us something to ground ourselves and not drift out of sync. But thinking along the line of reasoning like this, right? Is there any reason to be in sync with anyone, with society? Like we talk about sleep. One reason to sleep is so that we can be in sync with the rest of the world, or at least the rest of the people in your time zone. It's socially acceptable to have a portion of time in the day where you are not active and you are sleeping. So if everyone is equally productive all the time, is there still any reason to stay in sync? Or can we just do our work and send it off along, and once the other party has finished their work, send it back to us? Do it asynchronously so we don't have to real-time collaboration. I don't know. Yeah, that's the things that I think about. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting way of operating your day-to-day life. How in the morning, the first thing you want to do is pop in your contacts. Very interesting. But I also feel that like as in that's how the world operates when everyone is in sync and like efficiency, and the world majority of the world being in sync, I suddenly have the thought that the fact that majority of the world being in sync allows the few of us to have the liberty to be out of sync.
But then are we pursuing it out of novelty? Because like, is it just like, I want to be special and hence I want to be out of sync? Is it something like that? Because that's like, it has no value to be out of sync usually.
If you wanna be out of sync with the world just for the sake of novelty, then I don't think it's a good reason. But unless if let's say you operate more efficiently at night, like I really think better at night, then
right, like off-peak hours. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. As usual with these things, with these spirals, they just go away on their own. There is no conclusion or resolution with this. But yeah, it's just something to think about. I've provided a few examples. The work thing, the travel thing, the showering thing, and the contact lens thing. Yeah, so it's something that you can think about. Like, because I don't think I would be able to fully let go. Just like, if I won the lottery right now and I have the freedom to not work, I don't think I would be able to deal with a life without a career. Yeah, so it's just one of those things.
Oh my gosh, this reminds me, so circling back to work, this reminds me of a question that one of my friends asked me previously that really ingrained into my head. If you have $10 million given to you, that clears all your debt and all financial liabilities that you have in your life, and you do not have to have a career for the rest of your life, will you still work and pursue the career that you are having right now?
I would. It's a very clear yes for me. Because money is not the strongest reason why I work. Yeah. Is that clear enough? Like, yeah, it's basically it.
Okay, fair enough for you. Yeah, very clear cut.
So for me, it will be pretty clear. What about you? Do you have a different answer?
For me, it's not so straightforward, I feel. Because partly, I feel I have a very wide interest.
Right.
And very fleeting ones as well. That I would really, I'm very curious about how is it like to work in a specific career. So if let's say, if I'm given $10 million, the context that I gave, the hypothetical question that I gave earlier, I think I would want to try different career just to have the experience of how does it feel like to work in a particular career.
I do agree with you as well. And obviously it doesn't mean that just because of how I answered the question, it doesn't mean that I wouldn't think about quitting my job because it would be a more real option now that I don't have to care about money anymore. So of course I would want to explore other careers. But then this brings into question like, would you lose motivation for your job and then hence like perform less or perform worse in your job? Because like I think about it so much. Like if money is not a motivation, right, then would I still strive to achieve the best results in my work? Would I lose touch? Would I be seen as a burden? Like this person doesn't need to work, he's just like my colleagues might think this, and then like this person doesn't need to work. He's just here because he has the qualifications and he's here just spending his time, his life here, but he doesn't have to strive to be the best. There is a disparity between my colleagues who are working for money and me who is just being here to pass time. Like, is there this disparity of like authority in a sense? Yeah, but I think about this a bit too much. So
But do you think you would fall into the perception that your colleagues will have of you if let's in this hypothetical context?
I honestly don't know. Do you want to give me $10 million to find out? I really don't know how I would feel about this, because as much as I like to say that money is not the main motivator for my career, I don't know how true it is, like how it would translate to my actions. If I truly didn't have to work for the money, how would my behavior at work change? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's easy to say, but when it actually happens, it might be a totally different story.
It won't actually happen in my life. No one would give me $10 million, but okay, let's continue to think about this hypothetical.
If you do find someone like that, please please rope me in into such a good deal if you do find someone like that.
Share it with you. Is it 5 million each for both of us? That sounds great.
Yeah. Then we can share our experience on this is how I spend my day after receiving $5 million.
Yeah, I wish more people did this, like the lottery winners, right? I wish like more of them had more visibility in terms of like how their life truly changed after the lottery. Yeah, I will.
Wow, we delve very deep into this question.
We delve very deep into a lot of the topics in this episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. Good talk.
Yeah, I feel like it's time to call it a day here. Is it okay? I mean, our talk list is not finished yet. We didn't go through everything. But I think this episode has reached a length where it's good enough. So, you want to call it a day here?
Yep, sure. So,
alright.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for being part of this discussion. I don't know how much of it will actually make it to the final cut, but it's pretty long. We've been discussing for about 2 hours. Alright.
It's okay. It's the process, and we enjoyed these 2 hours.
Yeah, such a deep dive into our thought processes and our philosophies of life. Alright. Okay. I guess see you next time then, Hazel.
See you next time, Will. Have a good day ahead.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.